The Navy has anchored off Victoria's far east coast to begin the mass exodus from Malakuta. Tonight, the death toll stands at 1, but there are grave fears for 17 people missing in East Gippsland, including 4 members of the same family. HMAS Choules has delivered vital supplies, but won't begin ferrying the first of thousands of evacuees until tomorrow. And a total fire ban has now been declared for half the state tomorrow, ahead of several dangerous days. Madeline Slattery begins our coverage.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
You can only describe it as we've just survived like the worst car crash and we're being asked to recover next to the vehicle.
Amanda Mundy and her baby Olive were among those who couldn't wait for the rescue ship, instead organising their own charter boat out of town.
When we get home, we will be.
But there's also guilt in the fact that so many are being left behind.
They fought and defended their holiday house, leaving it open for others who still need shelter.
We took on how many extras? 12 people that we, strangers in effect.
For the thousands still stuck, this was a welcome silhouette, a sign that help is finally on its way. HMAS Choules is tasked with ferrying stranded locals and holidaymakers out of Malakuta. But despite arriving around 10, thick smoke forced it to dock more than a kilometre away from shore. So smaller vessels were sent in, first and foremost, to deliver much-needed water.
The township is, they couldn't drink the water before. Now they've given us the go-ahead to do it.
Help has come from far and wide. Chinooks flew in from Townsville, while the fleet of Black Hawks was deployed from Bairnsdale this afternoon. But with such smoky conditions, helicopter evacuation has been reserved for only the most vulnerable. For the 4,000 still stranded, the ride out of town won't be straightforward. HMAS Choules has a capacity of 1,000, so the process will take days.
We're looking at around about 20 hours from when we start moving out of Malakuta. So Welshpool, we're probably looking at around about 16 to 17 hours.
The first voyage is likely to take off around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
The plan is to have up to 800 people leave using that Navy vessel.
But authorities have indicated children will need to be at least school age.
We've got a school age here, but we're just going to have to wait, I suppose, because we want to go as a family. So, yeah, we'll just wait until they can get us out another way.
Prue is hoping her daughters get on the boat soon. They count themselves lucky to have a caravan to stay in, but with no power, time is running out.
The supermarket shelves, they are still quite full, but they're full of, a lot of snacks and things like that. It's not sort of proper food that you can cook for your kids.
Supplies will arrive from Melbourne soon. Food Bank has loaded a barge headed for East Gippsland. It's filled with pantry items for families to get by.
Most of the supplies have been donated, and then volunteers have spent considerable hours packing up these mixed grocery hampers that will allow a family up to 4 or 5 days worth of food.
Justin Brady will be among the recipients. The musician's house burnt down. Remarkably, his instruments were saved.
It's pretty tough, but it's been a roller coaster of emotions, and it goes up and down.
Jeff and Betty have lost everything too. Their home since the 80s, even Betty's wedding dress.
Now we must move on. We know here we are surrounded by love in this community.
It's just amazing.
And you can see it everywhere you walk, people hugging each other.
Madeline Slattery, 9 News.
And Mimi Becker joins me now from Malakuta. Mimi, are most people there willing to leave?
So far, Alicia, we've seen hundreds of local residents and tourists sign up here to leave. This is the process that's being taken for this mass evacuation. It is a massive coordination effort by the Australian Defence Force, and it seems that people are very keen to get out. There are limitations due to age, vulnerability for the old, for the elderly, and at this moment, absolutely everyone that wants to get out is registering. We do expect a list to be placed here in the community centre tonight for those people who will be hopping on board HMAS Choules tomorrow. Alicia?
OK, Mimi Becker there, thank you. A Bairnsdale woman fears 4 members of her family may have perished when the flames decimated the tiny East Gippsland town of Club Terrace. Rosemary Maces has told Reid Butler she's desperate for any news of their whereabouts.
Fast running out of hope, Rosemary Maces fears the worst for her family.
Just heartbroken. Just heartbroken, mate. Absolutely heartbroken. Just to know would be something.
It's believed her mother, father and 2 brothers from Club Terrace are among the 17 missing in small communities cut off by bushfires.
We just don't know if they're dead or alive, or if they need assistance, if they need someone to come and help them. I think that they can at least go over and get an aerial view of the situation to see, if there are people out there trying to get help.
24 towns are isolated, many still without power or phone reception.
These are very challenging circumstances, unique in many ways. To have this many people isolated, cut off, is not something we would normally experience.
Buchan is among the areas where residents are stranded. Today, Premier Daniel Andrews confirmed great-grandfather Mick Roberts died as flames destroyed his property.
We send our condolences, our deepest condolences to their family and the Buchan community, to whom he was so well known and very highly regarded.
It's feared some of the close to 50 fires still raging across the region could form a mega fire as conditions worsen over the coming days.
We are expecting these fires to move quickly and move significantly.
It's hot, it's windy, and it means in our dry landscape that we again are facing challenges that are quite unprecedented in this state.
The warning for those still in affected communities is this.
You do not need to be in remote communities that these fires are approaching. You actually need to get out, and you need to get out before the weekend and even before Friday tomorrow night.
Concerned residents have been called to community meetings like this one in Meetung.
We are not safe in Meetung. We need to evacuate this town. It's going to get very hot. It's going to get very dangerous.
Authorities are preparing for even more devastation, and our crews are getting help from the other side of the world. Around 40 firefighters from the United States landing at Melbourne Airport to join the firefight. This is base camp for firefighters battling blazes near Swan Reach. It's a kind of tent city where the brave men and women putting their lives on the line can get some much-deserved and much-needed rest.
It's humbling to be in the presence of our emergency services who have and continue to do an amazing job.
More than 20 satellite phones were deployed to the isolated communities today. Like many tonight, Rosemary is desperately hoping for a call from her loved ones.
These are my family. These are the people that I love. Please help them. Why aren't you helping them?
And Reid Butler is in Bumbera, east of Bairnsdale tonight. Reid, good evening to you. It's incredibly difficult for emergency teams to access many of these isolated communities.
Good evening, Alicia. That's right, and it's feared that the number of missing may grow as authorities do get better access to those isolated communities. But right now, as you say, it's simply too dangerous to use the roads to get into many of them. There are 24 right now across the state. Now, I've just spoken to emergency services and they tell me that there are 12 watch and act alerts in place right now. But the most important message to get across tonight is that if you are in one of those high-risk areas, get out while you still can ahead of those potentially catastrophic conditions we're expecting over the next few days. Alicia?
Yes, indeed. OK, Reid, thank you. Well, in the state's northeast, a convoy of residents has fled Corryong following concerns the town could again come under threat. Emergency crews have been door-knocking homes ahead of dangerous conditions tomorrow, coupled with fears the blaze could join a fire that's burning across the border.